Hello and welcome to The Telescope. Every week we bring you a fresh insight from the biggest car market in the world. Today we're on a sort of closed off dynamic media test drive of the Galaxy E5. Galaxy is a new sub-brand of Geely focusing on hybrid and battery electric vehicles. This battery electric E5 is the most relevant model to Telescope viewers because this car is designed to fully meet the Euro NCAP and the Australian NCAP safety standards. And the right-hand drive version of this car is developed simultaneously alongside this left-hand drive version. So for Southeast Asia, Australia and Europe, you will be able to buy this someday. We're expecting this car to be priced around 17,000 euros. That's with the 49 kilowatt hour base battery. There is a 60 kilowatt hour bigger battery available that is rated at 530 kilometers CLTC. Considering this is a relatively upright, not boxy, but traditional body style SUV. To get within 15 kilometers of the coupe SUV, very slippery Tesla Model Y on the same capacity batteries, this car's efficiency is quite good. In terms of size, this is just about the same as the Volkswagen ID.4. We have an ID.4 next to us in this proving ground. And I can tell this is just about the same amount of knee room and headroom. Maybe a tiny bit bigger than the ID.4, but only small amount. But somehow this car, in terms of curb weight, is whopping 300 kilograms lighter than the ID.4. I'm comparing base spec to base spec, while maintaining the same Euro NCAP safety standards. I'm not quite sure how this car is doing this. Maybe this is what 5 years of progress gives you. The front cabin of this E5 is, to be honest, a little bit uninspiring. But what I want to talk about is the software in this car. This has unusually good infotainment software for a 17,000 euro battery electric vehicle. This, in terms of infotainment, is light years ahead of the Volkswagen ID.4. And there's a good reason for that, because this Fly Me Auto infotainment software is written by Meizu, which was a Chinese phone company a few years ago. They were kind of struggling. And Geely at that time was also kind of struggling with infotainment software. Geely ended up acquiring Meizu, so Meizu put all of their experience in their own heavily customized Android mobile operating system into the Fly Me Auto system. This infotainment is now instantly one of the very best infotainment systems on the Chinese car market. What I have here is a Meizu phone. See here, Meizu. Once I put this phone here, it will connect with the infotainment. And when I press this button on the screen, what you have here is the home screen of your phone and every app on your phone laid out in exactly the same order as it was in your phone. And you can use every single one of these apps. Once I press the Weibo, this is the Weibo app on my phone. Full functionality, full resolution, 60 frames per second. Where else can you find an infotainment this strong for a 17,000 euro car? You can stretch this budget to 50,000-60,000 euro. Apart from Xiaomi, apart from Weilai and Huawei, apart from the Chinese car market, you don't have this level of phone integration. We're on a closed off testing ground. The road here are ultra smooth, so I will reserve my full judgment on this car's dynamics until I drive it on my familiar roads. But even here, comparing against the Volkswagen ID.4, which is very well established, there are some early conclusions I can draw. First of all, power. This Galaxy E5 has more power, 160 kilowatts, but it's front-wheel drive. This is either 125 or 150 kilowatts in the Chinese car market, and it's rear-wheel drive. On this testing ground, it really shows this car being rear-wheel drive, it just helps the car to turn. Secondly, the ID.4 has a lot less roll compared to the Galaxy E5. That's another way of saying the Galaxy E5 is set up more towards comfort. That's good news if you have bad roads in your region. But here, when you try to drive it aggressively, this car has more roll. Thirdly, the small things. The ID.4 steering wheel, the manual steering wheel adjustment has a lot of room of adjustment, where this, it is a four-way adjustable steering wheel, but it doesn't stick out far enough. You're sort of slightly leaning forward a little bit. And secondly, is the traction control. This car, although it has less power, I suspect if we time this testing ground, it's going to be slightly faster than this because it's more aggressive on traction. This car won't give you full power unless you put the steering absolutely dead straight and hit throttle. So, the Galaxy E5 is fine for Southeast Asia if you have bad roads, but if it really wants to crack Europe, it needs to stiffen up a little bit. So the Galaxy E5, we're projecting this to be a roughly 17,000 euro car. It's a solid choice on every front, but the biggest attraction for me is the infotainment, because there are other cars at this price range that has similar range, similar space, and similar level of performance. But none of them has the Fly Me Auto system, that level of phone integration, and just the overall slickness of that infotainment is the biggest attraction for me. Will you buy a car purely on software? I would say for China, if everything else is equal, in a battery electric vehicle where you are expected to spend much more time in the car, the software becomes so much bigger of a choice than it ever was. That is all from the Telescope today. If you enjoyed this video, keep watching, keep subscribing. More videos coming along very soon.